Hi, welcoming you to Gentle Mat Yoga. Today's class is going to focus on strength, building strength in our yoga practice in both body and mind. We know how important muscle mass is, though. It's crucial for our overall health and well-being. It helps with metabolic health, physical function, bone health, cardiovascular health, cognitive function, immune system function, emotional well-being, and overall longevity. So some reasons why we want to build those muscles. And it's something that I know in my own personal practice kind of falls by the wayside. I kind of, just not into lifting weights. But you can build strength in yoga, and we're going to do that today. So before we get going, make sure that you have a few things. So you'll need a yoga mat, a blanket for underneath the head for our rest pose at the very ends, or maybe you want to use that to cover the body, a strap, and then finally a yoga block, or if you don't have a yoga block, you can use a towel, and we're going to be squeezing the towel or block between the legs during certain poses to build strength in the adductor muscles. So that's what we've got going on today, and as in any class, if something doesn't feel right to you, skip it. Make this class your own. And by all means, remember that the word gentle is in the class title for a reason. We're going to be gentle with ourselves. Okay, so transitioning down to the floor, I'm going to take my time doing this. I'm going to use a piece of furniture if I need to, right? And I'm going to very slowly come down onto the earth. I've got my blanket for underneath my head, and my block is going to be used in a moment, but I've just got that standing by. And I'm going to lower myself down onto the earth. So we're going to be starting in a fully reclining posture with some support underneath the head, if that would feel good. And the knees are bent. Okay, so we're on the ground, knees are bent, and we're just going to begin to arrive at our gentle yoga class. However we are, whatever state of being you're in, you're welcome. Okay, come to lie on the earth with me and with all of our fellow friends here. Maybe you want to close the eyes for a moment, rest the hands on the belly, and just take 3 breaths in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Easy breath in and out. And then I'll separate my feet out to the very width of my mat and allow my arms to drape to the sides. Right? So palms facing up, arms out to the sides. And very slowly and gently, I'm going to begin to wash my knees from side to side with my breath moving. So I'm breathing in, breathing out, just exploring what feels good here. Maybe I don't push myself to the full range. So this is a wonderful way to begin any yoga session, a little bit of loosening up some of the areas of the body that we tend to, where we tend to tighten up, the hip flexors, the low back. And I'm just feeling this expansiveness across my chest and in my abdomen, taking some breaths here and just noticing how this feels for me. And as I go, I might decide I want to linger on one side and just let gravity do the work. With my knees draped to one side, I could take a breath. And then I might scoot to the other side. Same thing, just letting the knees hang over to one side and letting gravity do the work. And this can help facilitate a little bit of a deeper stretch. And we'll come back to this windshield wipers at the very end of our session as well. So let's go ahead and just hug the knees in, rock and roll a little bit, say hello to your sacrum, feel that connection your body's making with the earth. And please know it's okay to take care of yourself today, whatever you need. So I'm planting my feet back on the earth, and I'm going to take a couple of gentle pelvic tilts. So I've got my hands on my belly, feet are about hip distance apart, pressing my lower back down into the earth, erasing the lumbar curve. And then the opposite of that, accentuating the lumbar curve, pelvis tipping forward. And very gently, again, not pushing to the full range, just exploring. This could feel good for those of us who care for lower back issues, to just kind of check in. How am I doing today in the low back? And connecting the breath with this movement. For me, it feels good to inhale and lift up away from the earth. Exhale and push down, but you can do whatever feels best for you. Couple of easy breaths here. All right, so those are two nice ways to warm up for a session. Now I'm going to add a little bit of strengthening. I'm going to take my block or my towel or a pillow, squeeze it between my thighs, right at the medium width, or whatever feels good to you, and whatever placement feels best for you. Doesn't really matter, as long as there's just something there to kind of squeeze. Maybe it's between the knees. I still have my knees bent, my hands on my belly, and I'm going to take a breath in, and as I exhale, I'm just going to squeeze that block a little bit. Breathe in, release the squeeze without releasing the block. Exhale, squeeze. And we'll do one more like that. Maybe a little harder squeeze here. Feel that strength in your inner thighs. And then I'm going to release here, and I'm going to add my pelvic tilt. So I'm both squeezing and pelvic tilt. So I'll take a breath in. As I exhale, I'm squeezing the block and pressing my low back down into the earth. As I inhale, I'm releasing the block and tipping my pelvis away from the earth. Breathing in, breathing out, squeeze and press. Breathing in, release and lift. Breathing out, press and squeeze. Breathing in, release and lift. And one more, best one yet. All right, taking that block now and giving it a hug across your chest. Widening the feet out again and just washing the knees from side to side, breath or two. And I'm going to share one of my most favorite / hated exercises. And I say that because it's just so good for me, but it's sometimes pretty challenging. And it's called the tick-tock. I'm calling it the tick-tock. So I'm going to take my block and I'm going to lift my legs up towards the ceiling and take the block between my calves. Squeeze that block between the calves. Take the arms out to the sides, palms facing down to help support you. I'm taking a breath in. As I exhale, though, both legs are tick-tocking to the right, just a little bit, maybe 2 o'clock on the dial. Come back to center, inhale. Exhale to the left, maybe 10 o'clock on the dial. And I'm just tick-tocking back and forth slowly with control. Maybe one more on each side. This is a wonderful core strengthening exercise. And then I'm going to come back and release the block down, hug my knees into the chest. Maybe plant my feet on the earth. I'm taking my support away from underneath my head for just a moment. Got my feet on the ground. I'm going to hold the edges of my mat. And I'm just lifting my hips up off the earth, squeezing those glute muscles and releasing back down. Breathing where it feels good to breathe, like inhale versus exhale, you decide. So I'm lifting, squeezing the buttocks and releasing. And I might do 2 more of these bridge pulses, we'll call them. All right, very good. Coming back down, I'm going to hug my knees in with a wider opening to my legs, so my knees are out to the sides, and I'm rocking back and forth. So I'm bringing a little bit of external hip rotation into the mix. We're going to be doing a little bit of that later. And then if you like, you could stay doing that, or you could do one more core exercise with me, bringing the shins so they're parallel to the earth and the arms reaching straight up. This is called my dead bug crawl. Isn't that morbid? I love it. The lower back kind of presses down into the earth, and we're going to be extending opposite arm and leg. Neither touch the earth. And then we come back to neutral, where we're that little baby reaching for the mobile or dead bug. Extending opposites, coming back in. Maybe I breathe in as I reach. Breathe out as I come back, whatever feels good to you there. And you could take maybe just one more on each side. So I'm getting, moving all of the limbs for this. I love the whole body movement. All right, and then I'm just going to hug the knees into the chest. Rock a little bit from side to side, roll to my side, push myself up, right? Maybe I take a moment and take a sip of water, right? If I felt like I just really loved any one of those movements, I could stay doing it for a while. Taking a sip of water, and then we'll meet on the hands and knees. And if you have tender knees, you might want to pad up using your blanket underneath the knees. If you have tender wrists as you do this, you might bring the fingers to face a little bit to the sides rather than straight forward. That sometimes helps disperse the effort. So here I am, a 55-year-old lady on her hands and knees. And how often do we get down on our hands and knees? Well, you got to clean underneath the bed occasionally, so this is good. But I want to start to bring a little fluidity into my spine. So I'm going to arch the back. Maybe I lift the head a little bit, or maybe I just keep that chin level. And then I might very gently pull the belly up towards the spine and tuck the chin. It could be a very gentle, gentle rounding of the back. And we're just moving from arching and rounding the back, a cat-cow movement, very, very slow, very gentle, with your breath, breathing in, breathing out. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. And see if you can feel that pelvic bowl kind of doing its own thing. Tipping back, tipping forward. You got it. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and tuck the toes under. If this would feel okay, walk your hands back. I've got my fingertips tented into the earth, and I'm giving myself a huge toe stretch here. If this feels too much, you can walk away from it. And I'm going to look straight ahead. I am strong. I'm going to feel that intention as I do my lion's pose. I stick out my tongue with a nice wide open mouth, and I do my little version of a roar. So I'm creating a little hissing sound, a little escape valve. And then I'll walk myself slowly up so that I'm balancing on my knees. And I might just take a massage to my low back. And then walking myself towards my piece of furniture and coming to stand. So just a little short warm up on the hands and knees. Coming to stand in whatever way feels best to you. Okay, so we're having that block standing by. I forgot I was going to do plank pose. Aren't you lucky? I forgot we were going to do that. Maybe we'll do that later or another class. So let's start with mountain pose with an option to bring the block or blanket or towel between the thighs or calves or feet. Actually, the feet, it's sometimes really nice to do the feet. Let's try that. Sorry, I'm giving you way too many options. I like anchoring down through the feet personally, but if you feel like you want to do it somewhere else, that's great. So I'm standing in my mountain pose. I've got my feet on the earth. Can I let myself be a little bit relaxed in this pose for a moment? Maybe I let go of, engaging all those muscles for just a moment. And I'm just going to build from the ground up. So you could close your eyes if you're not already there closing the eyes, or just cast the gaze towards the earth. Feel the feet on the earth. Maybe you can feel that block and you can give it a light squeeze. And we're slowly moving up to the calves and knees and feeling the strength begin to enter. Maybe a little bit of engagement into the glute muscles, the core. The heart lifts ever so gently. And we let the shoulders just relax. The chin can be level with the earth. Maybe even a little bit tucked if you're like me and you continuously jut the chin forward. And there I am, imagining a little string pulling up from the bun on my head, right? That's the placement of the string, lifting me a little bit taller. And here I am in my mountain pose. I could even envision a mountain in my mind's eye. I am the mountain. The mountain is me. And breathing into that strength, that fabric of foundation which underlies everything, our connection. Feeling those roots going out, knowing we can tap into those roots at any time. And opening the eyes, I'm going to lift the arms out and up and bring the palms through to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to heart center. I'm reaching up and I'm grabbing that which I need today. A little bit of calm, a little bit of ease. Maybe it's just me time. All right, one more. And I'm bringing that into my being and sinking down now into my knees a little bit. I still have my block there, and I'm going to bring my hips back. And I could squeeze that block isometrically. Tip the belly back towards the spine. Feel the strength in my core, in my lower back, in my glutes. This is our chair pose. And then I'm going to release and ask that you move your block to the thighs. Okay, so everybody bringing the block up to the thighs for some chair pulses. So we're going to do some chair pulses here. Actually, let's call them chair salutes. Okay, so I'm bringing my hands to heart center, and I'm just going to sink down into my imaginary chair. The weight is back. The hips are back. Squeezing that block lightly. Belly towards the spine. Beautiful. Now I'm going to inhale, straighten, arms rise up. Exhale, sink down, little light squeeze to the block. Beautiful. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, sink and squeeze. Maybe it's a pillow. And we'll do 3 more. Strength in those legs. You got it. Make any adjustments. And if it just doesn't feel comfortable to have something there, you can remove it. It's fine. All right, last one. I'm going to stay here in my chair. Remember, the weight is back in the heels, belly towards the spine, so I'm not putting all that pressure on my low back. My gaze is lifted, my core is working, and my heart is upright. You feel the work in the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You did it. Come on out of it. Let the block go. Walk it out a little bit. Maybe you leave your feet on the earth and just bend one knee at a time. Sashay the hips back and forth. The arms are loose. I'm massaging my feet. Very nice. Now, opposite arm, opposite leg with that little sashay. Can you switch it up? Opposites. Ooh, that's hard. All right. And then if you like, taking that sip of water. So we're going to hit all the warrior poses today. Warrior 1, warrior 3, and warrior 2. And we're doing them in that order because the hips are kind of, the way the hips face are the key. And I'll share a bit more about that in a moment. A lot of you practice warrior 1 in every one of my classes. I love it. But we don't always practice warrior 3 or warrior 2. So we're going to do them all today and then some. So friends, let's step the right foot forward and the left foot back at an angle. My hips are pointed forward. I'm going to sink into my right knee, squeeze the left glute. You got it, Linda, beautiful. And a little bit of a tuck in the belly, right, to just get that, disperse the effort away from my lower back. I'm going to reach forward with my palms facing down. And I'm going to grab imaginary levers. So I'm making fists here. And as I straighten the knee, I'm going to pull those levers back, shoulder height, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, sink into the knee, reach forward. Exhale, levers back, straighten the knee. Couple more at your own pace, you're breathing. Feeling that strength in the upper body. And we'll take one more like that. You got it. Take a little wider base if you feel wobbly here, walking that right foot to the right. And then I'm going to come into my warrior 1 pose. Maybe the hands rest at heart center. Maybe you want to interlace the fingers behind the head and lean the head back into the hand a little bit, so strengthening the neck. Or maybe you want to reach the arms up, palms facing each other. Those are some options for you today. You can explore all of them if you wanted to. 2 more breaths. And then releasing those hands down. We'll shorten the stance. Wiggle the hips a little bit, loosen things up. And I'm going to take my hands with the palms facing away from me onto my sacrum, one on top of the other. So I've got this openness across my chest. And I'm feeling the sacrum, which is going to be useful in a moment as we lean forward, leading with the heart, not the chin. I'm going to push my belly back towards my hand so I feel this support that I'm giving myself. And again, see if you can tuck that chin. You got it, Beth. Beautiful. Easy breaths. Gold stars coming to you. One more breath. And then come on up. The hands will come onto the hips. And I'm just sort of exploring what it would feel like to bring my weight into my right foot. And I might kick that left foot up and come right back down. Now I do have my chair here, so I can grab one hand onto that chair as I'm dynamically kicking the left foot up behind me. And I'm just noticing, what muscles am I using for this? Right, so this is a dynamic version of a warrior 3. I might want to explore keeping that left foot lifted, toe pointing down. Right, so often I see people opening the hip and the toe pointing out. So toe pointing down, belly is tucked up and in. Maybe one arm comes out to the side, and we're flying through space together. We've got our eyes on the prize, our own well-being. Big breath in. Beautiful. And then come out of it, walk it out, sip of water. So this is a good little sequence, right? We've got warrior 1, pyramid pose, and warrior 3, and they all have the hips pointing forward. So that's kind of why we put them together. Now coming to the other side, left foot forward, right foot back at an angle. Bending into that left knee. Ooh, that feels delicious. Squeeze that right glute muscle. Belly back towards the spine. And I'm reaching forward, palms facing down. Grabbing that imaginary lever, breathing in. Exhale, pull the levers back, squeeze the shoulder blades. You got it. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. 2 more, inhale, and exhale, last one. Beautiful. Now I'm coming to my warrior 1 foot position, sinking into that left knee. If I feel wobbly, I'll walk the left foot to the left, and you do you with the arms. Maybe the hands come to heart center, maybe you interlace the fingers behind the head and give yourself a little neck strengthening, or maybe the arms reach up. So you can explore whatever feels good today. Heart is open. Feeling the breath moving in, the breath moving out. One more breath. Beautiful, release. Step the right foot forward. So we've got a shortened stance. Both legs are straight and strong. I'm placing one hand on my low back and then the other hand on top of that. Maybe it's opposite from what you did last time. Which one's on top? And then I'm taking a bow, leaning forward without rounding my back. My legs are strong. Yeah, you've got it. And I always have to remind myself, tuck that chin, and why are you jutting forward with the chin? You're just putting pressure on the back of the neck. Easy breaths. One more breath. And then make your way up. All right, releasing the arms and be shaking them out. I'm taking my hands to my hips, and I'm going to explore moving my weight into my left foot. Maybe kicking up the right leg. Oh yes, I need my chair for this. I'm going to hold on to my chair. Kick that right leg up. What a strong glute muscle. We've been developing these strong glute muscles doing our chair pose. So this could be your version of a dynamic warrior 3. And you're using all the muscles you would use for a static warrior 3. And you can try static if you like, leaving the right leg lifted. Doesn't have to be as high as the hip, but maybe you lean the torso forward, toe pointing down. Beautiful. Maybe one arm comes out to the side, flying through space. Zeroing in on our goal of building strength, both in body and mind. Beautiful. Come on out of it. Walk it out. Shake it out. Get a glass of water. Take a sip. And I was so thrilled to see a restaurant near my house just recently put up one of those windsock things. So I get to drive by it every day now. And it's an eagle, probably for the Eagles, the football team, but it's one of my favorite creatures. So don't forget your windsock person is always there when you need a little flow. So let's go ahead and do a little round of chair salutes, taking the block back between the thighs. Feel the strength in the toes and the feet. Hands come to heart center, sink on down, weight comes back, belly towards the spine. Squeeze the block or pillow or blanket. And then I'm inhaling, lifting, straightening, exhaling, sinking back down, weight in the heels. Let's do 3 more. Inhale. And exhale, squeeze. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze. Move at your own pace. Last one. Oh, we're really getting a good workout today here with these legs. Big squeeze, and then let it go, drop the block. Hold on to something. Maybe you want to kick the heel towards the butt, or maybe you can reach back and grab onto the ankle or pant leg or foot and give yourself a quad stretch, right? If you can't quite reach there, that's okay. You can actually put your knee onto the edge of your chair. Reach back down, grab that pant leg, and that is a way to get there if you're not quite there right today. And that's fine if you're not. So just breathing into that, and when you're ready, maybe you sigh it out and switch sides. Really important to take those counter poses, those counter stretches. We just did a lot to strengthen the front of the legs, so now we want to stretch them a bit. All right. Beautiful. When you're ready, come into a wider stance on your mat. I'm going to grab opposite arm behind the back, and I'm going to take my hips in a circle. So feel the opening across the chest as we begin to lubricate the hip joints, preparing for some of our externally rotated open hip poses, such as Warrior Two, Triangle, Half Moon. And maybe you'll do some of these poses, maybe you'll do all of these poses. Totally up to you. Circling the other direction. You guys are doing great today. All right, bringing those hands to the hips. Taking that nice wide stance. I'm going to turn my right toes to the right and angle my left foot in. Notice that my torso and my hips are facing the side of my mat or towards you. I'm going to sink into my right knee, and maybe I can go a little bit deeper. Maybe I stay where I am. I'm hugging all the muscles along the bones, and I want to take a peek and make sure that my right knee isn't crumbling in too much. So I want that more or less over my ankle. All right, then I'm going to open my arms out to the sides with the palms facing up today. Palms facing up, and then I'll go ahead and just touch my shoulders with my fingertips. I'm breathing in, opening. Breathing out, touching. One more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Now I'm going to bring my arms up into like the strong bicep position. Contract the bicep muscles. Feel that strength. Take a breath in. As you exhale, squeeze the forearms together in front of the body. Inhale, open, strong muscles. Exhale, close, press. We'll take one more. Inhale and exhale, and then we'll float those arms back out to the sides, palms facing down. Turn the gaze over the right hand, and maybe you want to shoot out a little intention here. I am strong. I am fluid. Let's flip that right hand. Inhale, trace the ceiling, left hand coming back. Straighten that right leg, so I'm getting a nice reverse warrior stretch. And then I'll just come back down, hands to the hips. Now I'm going to shorten my stance by bringing this left foot, kind of little wiggling it closer. I'm going to shift my hips a tiny bit forward. So they're somewhere between straight forward and all the way to the side for triangle pose. I'm going to bring my right hand out like a spout, and my left hand is my handle of my teapot, and I'm pouring out over that right foot and coming back up. So dynamic triangle pose. Sass out that left hip like a rebellious teenager. We know you're still in there somewhere. All right, next time I go down, I'll stay. Bring the hand to my thigh. Make sure that right shoulder is back. And I'm going to keep my gaze down at my foot today. If you prefer, you can gaze up at the ceiling. I find it ungrounding personally. Then lifting the left arm, reaching up towards the ceiling. So you've got this nice long wingspan. One more breath. That's good. And then come on back up. Okay, so let's just walk it out a little bit. How are you guys doing? Doing okay? All right. Awesome. So now we're going to move into a half moon pose. And we'll do a dynamic version, and then we'll do a static version. So we want a little bit of a little wide stance with my chair. I have my hand on my chair, my right hand on my chair here. So I've got the right toes to the right. I've angled in, and I'm going to sort of play around with bending into this right knee and picking up the left leg. This time, my hips are open for half moon hop. And I'm squeezing that left glute muscle as I lift the leg up. And I'm only going as far as feels good. Beautiful, Linda. And maybe I'll hold, right? Maybe I can bring my hand down onto the seat. And maybe I lift that left arm up. You could gaze down, you could gaze up, whatever feels good for you. Right, so hips are stacked. And then come on out of it. Really nice job, guys. Kick the heels towards the butt. Let's do all of that on the other side. Maybe you want to take a little sip of water first. How you doing there, guys? Hanging in there? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I like that one too. So wide stance for warrior two. I'm going to bring my left toes to the left, angle the right foot in a little bit. My torso, my heart, my hips are pointed towards the side of my mat, towards you, and I'm bending into my left knee. I'm squeezing those muscles along the bones, so I'm getting some bone strengthening here. And then I'll open my arms out to the sides, palms facing up. Take up all this space. Breathe in. Exhale, fingertips to the shoulders. Breathe in, open. Breathe out, touch. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Now I'll come into my strong woman position here with the arms to the sides, making a muscle. Breath in. Exhale, squeeze in front. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. One more time. And then floating those wings out to the sides, palms facing down. Turning my gaze over the left hand. Breath in. I am strong. Could flip that left hand, trace the ceiling. That front leg can straighten for reverse warrior. So I'm lifting that arm up and leaning back. And then I'll release out of here and shorten my stance. So ratcheting the right foot towards the left. And this time I give a little sass out of that right hip. And my hips are somewhere between to the side and to the front. For my teapot triangle, pouring my teapot spout over my left leg, keeping my right shoulder back. Right, so I'm in this kind of line. Are you breathing? Maybe I lean down and bring my palm to my thigh when I'm ready. Again, that right shoulder coming back. My gaze could be down. And I'm reaching the right arm up and just taking a breath or two. Pushing the feet apart isometrically. And coming up out of it nice and slow, walking it out. So triangle, warrior two, those are poses that are great for bone strengthening. We're putting this additional pressure beyond gravity on the bones and inviting them to create new bone protein. It's very exciting to think about that while you're in a triangle pose. All right, little bit of a wide stance. Left toes to the left, I've got my chair. Half moon hop, so I'm putting my weight into my left foot and kicking up my right leg, squeeze the outside of that right hip. And the hips are stacked, right? So my hips are open towards you. It's a bit different from warrior three. Yeah, got it, beautiful. Use the other hand, Beth, yeah, perfect. And then I might stay lifted. Doesn't have to be all the way. Could be just a little bit. Squeeze that right glute muscle. Maybe the gaze is down. Maybe I go farther into it. Maybe I reach the right arm up. You got it. Can you take one breath here? Woohoo! All right, awesome, guys. Got a lot of good half moon action in today's class. So, oh yes, let's take a little rub to the low back. Wrists, knuckles going up and down the spine. And finally, I'll take my block into my hands after a little sip of water. Looks like it feels good, Beth. My block or my pillow in my hands, holding this at heart center. My feet are hip distance apart, very strong in my legs. I'm going to lift the blocker pillow up over my head, still straightening the arms and pressing the palms. And as I bring the block back down, I might come down to my chair pose, or I might not if I'm feeling tired. Breathing in, lifting, little pressure on the block. Breathing out, sinking, weight in the heels. One more lift. And exhale. And then I'm just coming to stand with that block at my heart, pouring my weight into the right foot and just lifting that left leg out to the left. So just a little squat and lift, squat and lift. Other side, squat and lift, squat and lift. And then we'll go ahead and come into our tree pose. So I've got the weight in the right foot, picking up the left heel and opening the knee to the side. This might be where I stay, right? Or I could take my foot up onto the calf. Little bend to the standing knee. Pull the belly up and in. Right, maybe I wobble out of it and I come right back to it. That would be fine. You could have your back against the wall for this. You could have a hand on the chair. Maybe you want to try growing the branches overhead, holding that block overhead. Big breath in. And release out, walk it out. Give that block a hug like it's your boo. And we'll switch it up. So pressing the block or pillow between the hands. Weight in the left foot, little bendy bounce. Opening that right knee out to the side, zip everything up. Find what works for you here. Find your breath. Maybe you grow the branches. Maybe you keep the palm at heart center. Feel the roots. Connect with the breath. You got it, Dottie. Come in and out of it. And release back down. Take the block to the floor. Take a wide stance. Take a wide-legged forward fold. And after this pose, we'll begin to do our wind down. So wide-legged forward fold, I have a wide stance with my legs. I'm not rounding my back here as I come, my hands slide down my legs. I might be able to tent my fingertips on the earth. And I might be able to let go of holding my head. Finding my breath. When you're ready, making your way up. Taking that one more sip of water before we come to a reclining posture. So feeling like we really did some pretty amazing things today in our class. Now it's really important we do some stretching and some resting. So I'm going to very carefully transition to a reclining posture, and I'm going to really take my time with this since we've been doing a lot of standing. So I might pause in a seated posture on the way there. I want to make sure I have still my block, my blanket for underneath my head, and a strap. So we're going to do some strap leg stretches today. Make sure you have the range, enough space so that your legs can come out to the sides as well. So very carefully lowering yourself down onto the earth, just like we did at the beginning. I'm taking that blanket underneath my head. So I want to create a neutral spine here. Resting the hands on the belly, maybe closing the eyes for just a moment. Letting the body rest. Easy breaths in and out. Could I take 3 breaths in a row? Maybe letting go of effort just a little bit in the shoulders, the jaw. And then when you're ready, grabbing your strap or whatever you're using as a strap, creating a loop. I'm going to step my right foot into the loop of the strap, holding one side with each hand. Now, option to keep that left leg bent, or maybe you want to extend the left leg long. It's up to you. Maybe the leg is not straight, and that is fine. I want to make sure I'm not working to keep my head lifted or to keep my shoulders off the earth. So I want to do what feels good to me. Right? Keep the head resting. And I want to make this active. So I'm pushing my foot up into the strap and pulling back at the same time. There's a conversation going there. I'm breathing into this very active stretch. And then I'll go ahead and cross the midline of the body with that leg, just a little bit. So I'm getting this pretty big stretch to the IT band. If you feel discomfort or pain, don't go as far. And then I'll come back through center, hold the strap in just the right hand, opening the right leg to the right very slowly. And maybe I can prop up my elbow on the earth if my leg goes that far. If it doesn't, that's okay. And that left arm can drape out to the left. And I'm letting go a little bit of working in my legs themselves. Maybe that left leg is engaged for some support. Opening that right leg to the right to whatever degree feels good to you. Breathing into it. And then releasing back up through center and stepping my left foot up into the strap to switch sides. So the right foot could come to the earth with the knee bent, or I could extend my right leg long. Active stretch here, pushing and pulling. And that helps me protect the muscle that's being stretched, right? So that I'm not overstretching. I want to feel healthy, stretching sensation in the belly of the muscle rather than the insertion points. Take a moment to bring the leg over, crossing the midline of the body, so to the right. Feel like I never stretch my IT band. Come back to center, strap in the left hand, slowly open to the left. Whenever you're ready, maybe you can prop that elbow up onto the earth. Maybe that right arm drapes to the right. And we can again let gravity do some of the work here. Come on back through center when you're ready. Take the strap to the side. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. And then we're planting the feet on the earth. I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left knee, keeping the right foot flexed, not pointed. And I'm reaching up through the window of the legs and grabbing onto my left thigh if it's possible and hugging it in. And if this feels not doable to you, that's okay. You can just come up onto the tiptoe of the left foot and push the right knee away. So there are some options there for you for this figure 4 stretch. You might feel this in the outside of the right hip, glute muscle, breathing into it. When you're ready, plant that left foot down. We're going to cross the knee all the way over. So the right knee on top of the left, nestling. I'm dropping my knees to the left side, just a little bit. See how that feels? Maybe you go a little farther and the right arm can reach to the right. And I want to keep my right shoulder kind of melting into the earth here. And I'm really going to begin to let go of my physical practice and just be a body lying on the earth in this gentle, gentle twist. Breathing. Unfurling back to center. Switching it up with the left ankle over the right knee. Either coming up onto the tiptoe and pressing the left knee away, or hugging the right thigh in. The side could feel different, so just honoring whatever you come across here. And you could always do this with your foot on a wall as well. Breathing into the sensation. It's beautiful, guys. One more breath. Release the foot down, cross the knee over. I'm in no hurry. So knees nestling, dropping my knees to the right ever so slowly as I reach to the left with my left arm. Left shoulder melting. And I'm just breathing into this openness in my left side body. Letting gravity do the work, letting time be a tincture. Big breath, sigh it out. And when you're ready, you can come back to center. All right, we've got one more active pose left in our practice. We're going to do a bridge pose with a block. So I'm taking my block between my thighs or the pillow. I've got my feet hip distance apart. And friends, if you're depleted and you're done, you can just move directly to Shavasana, rest pose. That would be fine. Now I'm going to make sure that I've taken away the support from my head. So I want the base of the skull to be resting on the earth. I'm going to grab onto the edges of my mat. I'm not going to turn my head from side to side for this. Very important to protect the neck. And I'm just going to squeeze that block a little bit and lift my hips up off the earth. I might be able to wriggle my shoulders, get a little bit higher. So not only am I pushing my hips using my glute muscles, but I'm using my upper back to get a bit of that, more of an extension or arching of that upper back. Take a breath, sigh it out. One more breath. And then we're coming down slowly, hugging that block into the chest or that pillow into the chest. Give it a good squeeze. Gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you, me, for taking this time. I'll walk my feet apart to the edges of my mat and take some windshield wipers, just nice and loose and languid. And one thing I love about my yoga practice is it gets to all of these little places, these little muscles that I don't use for big things, and the connective tissue. And the connective tissue is like its own organ that really, it's like a sheath. So I feel that what I feel after yoga, sort of a whole body wellness, is most likely, all of the fluids I've moved around, like the lymph, the blood, right? And this connective tissue sheath being stretched in new ways. So at long last, friends, I want to offer you an invitation to get really comfortable. I'm taking my support back under my head. I might bring a pillow or 2 blocks underneath my knees. So bringing my knees up a little bit off the earth. If I don't have those, I could keep my knees bent and walk the feet apart, tent the knees together. So this takes the pressure off the low back. But whatever feels best for you, really get yourself settled. And one little piece I love to do for Shavasana, it's like, I don't have a person here pulling my limbs away from my body. How could I do that for myself? I'm going to kind of walk my heel away from the body, wriggle my heel and lengthen, and then same thing other side, and just let the legs feel that lengthening. And then same thing, I'm picking up my hands, moving them a little farther away from the body, and then resting. So I feel that lengthening. And then in my Shavasana pose, I'll close my eyes if I felt comfortable doing so. And bit by bit, I am letting go. I am yielding my efforts. And I might move my mind just to the sensation of my breath, either in my belly or my rib cage or my back. Letting go of effort, allowing the muscles in the face to drain of expression. Feeling the receptivity in the palms. Feeling the expansiveness in the chest. Maybe you want to imagine an aperture at the center of the chest through which you could imagine breathing in gratitude, breathing out gratitude. And then I'll invite you just to see yourself in your mind's eye and to see the strength that you have in both body and mind. Maybe you want to imagine yourself giving yourself a high five in your mind's eye. Mm-hmm. And then when you're ready, we'll begin to come back into the body. Wiggle the fingers and toes. take a big stretch of the arms. Very gradually come onto your side. Push yourself up into a seated posture. I'm in no hurry. Coming to sit with hands at heart center, we'll just close our practice today with the sound of 1 Om and 3 Shantis for peace. You can listen or join in. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And thanking you so much for your practice, friends. Namaste.